Every culture on Earth tells the same kind of story. Whispers in dark halls, footsteps in empty rooms, a presence when no one's there. For centuries, humans have claimed to see, hear, and even speak with the dead. Yet in an age of satellites, smartphones, and artificial intelligence, we still ask the same question. Are ghosts real, or are they just reflections of our fears? Billions of people believe in some form of afterlife. Half of all adults say they've felt a presence they can't explain. And ghost hunting has evolved from folklore to science, from candlelight vigils to high-tech investigations. So what are we really seeing in the dark? A spirit world? A trick of the mind? Or something stranger still? A phenomenon that blurs the line between science and the supernatural? Tonight, we follow the trail of evidence across ancient tombs, haunted castles, modern laboratories, and the human brain itself to uncover the truth behind one of humanity's oldest obsessions. The ancient origins of ghosts. The belief in spirits is as old as civilization itself. Long before religion, humans buried their dead carefully. Food, weapons, jewelry, and tools placed beside the body. They believed death wasn't an end, but a transition. In ancient Egypt, the ka, a person's life force, was thought to live on, needing offerings to remain content. In Greece, shades of the dead roamed the underworld, restless if their bodies were unburied. In China, ancestral spirits watched over descendants, blessing the respectful and cursing the neglectful. Even the oldest written texts, the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Book of the Dead, describe encounters with ghosts. For early humans, spirits explained the unexplainable: disease, disaster, dreams. But they also served another purpose: memory. To believe the dead could linger meant the people we loved were never truly gone. That idea has haunted and comforted us ever since. The birth of the haunted world. As civilizations expanded, ghost stories evolved. In medieval Europe, spirits were thought to rise from purgatory, seeking prayers to free them. In Japan, yurei, pale, vengeful spirits, were believed to appear in moments of injustice or grief. In the Middle East, the jinn were invisible beings made of smokeless fire, capable of both kindness and cruelty. Every culture created its own spirit lore, but all shared the same fear. That death wasn't the end, but a doorway we couldn't control. The first haunted houses appeared in Roman times. Pliny the Younger wrote of a ghost shackled in chains, haunting a scholar until the body it belonged to was discovered and buried. Even today, that pattern remains. A strange noise, a hidden past, a restless soul needing peace. Ghost stories rarely change, only the setting does. But what happens when we try to prove them? The rise of ghost science. In the 19th century, as electricity and photography transformed the world, people wondered, if we can send voices through wires and capture light on film, could we also capture ghosts? This era gave birth to spiritualism, a movement claiming the dead could communicate through mediums, knocking tables, and ghostly photographs. Magicians and scientists joined the investigation. Harry Houdini exposed fraudulent seances, revealing how easily human senses can be fooled by darkness and suggestion. Yet even skeptics admitted something real seemed to happen to believers. Their experiences were deeply emotional, sometimes transformative. Then came the camera. From Victorian spirit photographs to modern digital orbs, technology became our window into the unknown. Today, ghost hunters use EMF detectors, infrared cameras, voice recorders, and motion sensors, hoping to measure the invisible. And sometimes, they capture something they can't explain. Whispers, footsteps, flickering figures, coincidence, static, or evidence. The answer may depend less on the camera and more on the mind behind it. The psychology of the paranormal. Science has a word for seeing patterns that aren't there: pareidolia. It's the reason we see faces in clouds or hear voices in static. Our brains are meaning-making machines. They evolved to detect danger, to notice shapes, sounds, and movements even when there's nothing there. Better to imagine a predator than miss a real one. Combine that with darkness, stress, and expectation, and the mind can conjure entire realities. The temperature drops, a door creaks, adrenaline floods the body. Suddenly, a trick of light feels like proof of a ghost. But here's the twist. The same sensory experiences occur in genuine hauntings reported by multiple witnesses. So, is it all imagination? Or are we tapping into something deeper? A universal experience hardwired into human perception? Psychologists studying near-death experiences and hauntings have found that the same brain regions linked to dreaming and memory, particularly the temporal lobe, can create vivid sensations of presence. When stimulated with electromagnetic fields, people often report feeling watched or touched by something unseen. So perhaps ghosts exist, but within us. The science of energy and memory. Then again, maybe there's more to it. Energy doesn't disappear, it transforms. Every human heartbeat, every thought, every moment releases electrical and chemical energy into the environment. Could some trace of that energy linger? The stone tape theory suggests that emotional events, trauma, joy, violence, can imprint onto the physical world like a recording, replaying when conditions are right. It's an idea halfway between science and the supernatural, where a haunting is not a spirit, but an echo of memory. There are haunted battlefields where soldiers are seen marching through the fog century after century. Haunted houses where the same footsteps echo at the same time every night. Residual, replayed, or remembered by the land itself. While physics offers no proof that memory can embed in matter, it doesn't entirely dismiss the possibility either. Quantum science shows that particles can exist in multiple states until observed, and that observation itself changes reality. Perhaps human consciousness interacts with the world in ways we barely understand. Maybe we don't see ghosts. Maybe we remember them, the investigations that stunned science. There are cases even skeptics struggle to explain. In 1959, the backseat voice recording from the Rosenheim case in Germany captured voices in an empty office, tested, verified, and never fully debunked. In 1977, the Enfield poltergeist in London was witnessed by police, journalists, and paranormal investigators. Furniture moved, toys flew, and voices echoed from a child's throat in impossible tones. More recently, in 2003, a Japanese research team studying infrasound, frequencies too low for human hearing, discovered that these vibrations can cause feelings of dread and hallucinations. Could haunted places simply produce invisible waves that disturb our perception? And yet the reports continue. Identical experiences in places separated by oceans. Entire cultures describing the same apparitions for millennia. If it's all illusion, it's a remarkably consistent one. The human need to believe. At the heart of it all, maybe the truth about ghosts isn't about evidence, but about need. Humans are the only species that mourns deeply, builds graves, and imagines eternity. We crave connection so fiercely that death feels unacceptable, and so our minds create continuity. Belief in ghosts is, in many ways, belief in love that refuses to end. Every haunting, every seance, every whispered prayer begins with grief. When we lose someone, part of us can't accept the silence. We talk to the empty room. We feel their presence in a favorite chair, a scent, a song. Science might call it projection, but the heart calls it hope. Perhaps ghosts endure not because they're real, but because we can't bear a universe without them. What science still can't explain. Even with all our technology, the paranormal remains one of the great unknowns. No scientist has proven that consciousness ceases the moment the brain dies. In fact, new research shows measurable bursts of brain activity seconds after clinical death, a surge scientists still don't fully understand. Some near-death experiencers describe vivid encounters, out-of-body sensations, and meeting loved ones long gone. Are these hallucinations? Or is there truly something beyond the threshold of life? If consciousness can exist independently, even briefly, perhaps the line between life and death isn't as solid as we think. Maybe ghosts are not trapped souls, but ripples in that boundary, flickers of awareness reaching across dimensions. It sounds far-fetched, but then again, so did electricity, until we learned to see the invisible. The modern hunt. Today's ghost hunters mix folklore and physics in their pursuit. Teams use electromagnetic meters, heat sensors, and infrared cameras in the world's most haunted places, from the Tower of London to abandoned hospitals. They gather sounds, shadows, and anomalies, fragments of something beyond explanation. Meanwhile, neuroscientists study the brain's power to create those same sensations in controlled settings. Both camps chase the same mystery from opposite sides. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the truth of ghosts isn't about choosing belief or skepticism. It's about the bridge between the two, the space where science meets wonder, the shadow of memory. Think of every ghost story you've ever heard. At its core lies emotion, loss, guilt, love, fear. Hauntings are often places where something unresolved remains. Maybe ghosts are not beings at all, but emotions that refuse to fade. The echo of a tragedy, the warmth of affection, the presence of memory that time couldn't erase. When someone we love dies, the bond doesn't disappear, it transforms. Perhaps the places that feel haunted are simply heavy with remembrance, charged by the energy of lives once lived. Maybe we don't walk among ghosts. Maybe we live among memories strong enough to touch the living. The unfinished answer. So, are ghosts real? Science says no proof. Faith says yes. Experience lives somewhere in between. Maybe ghosts are fragments of consciousness that persist after death. Maybe they're echoes of memory trapped in the walls, or maybe they're the reflection of the most human truth of all, that love and fear both leave their mark on the world. What's certain is this: ghosts, real or imagined, have shaped who we are. They remind us that we are storytellers, creatures desperate to make sense of the unknown. And perhaps that's what makes them eternal. Because as long as we remember, believe, and wonder, they will never truly disappear. Do you believe in ghosts? Have you ever experienced something you can't explain? Share your story in the comments. We read everyone. If this deep dive into the mystery of the unseen sparked your curiosity, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more journeys into the fascinating corners of science, history, and the unknown. Because here on the Mind Metrics, we don't chase answers. We chase the questions that keep us awake at night. Stay curious, and maybe, just maybe, leave a light on.